What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
Things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think, well, I lie awake and contemplate at night.
Howdy, howdy. Good evening, everybody. We've got Steve here.
Yes. Hello, folks.
And
I'll shut up. So.
I've had an interesting afternoon, and I will say, for me, probably about the most unusual afternoon that you'd ever see me partake in, to be honest. And a lot of people might have crazy ideas in their mind of what it is that I could have been doing. But the truth of the matter is, I binge watched a TV show. That is one of the rarest things you will ever see me do is binge watch anything. Um, but there is a new show that came out today, and I am hooked. I am so beyond hooked. Um, hang on. Okay. Best thing I can do if I go to cough is mute because there's no other way for me to kind of quieten it. But anyway, so I don't normally like TV shows. I'm not into TV entertainment or anything like that. But like a year or whatever ago, maybe a couple, I don't know. There was a show that was put out called Squid Game, and that thing was just very interesting. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the movie or this little series more than it wasn't a movie. It was a little series, but I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. And and apparently they have made a game. It took me a little bit to catch on to this because I thought it was just a sequel to the first. I just thought it was season two. Well, it's not. This is something different, and it took me a little while to figure it out. But this is an actual game show. The people that are actually on there are actually competing. And of course, if you lose, you don't die, like in the actual series. And that's what took me a moment because I'm like, wait a minute here, because like the first game in the series was uh, red light, green light, and and when people failed to uh, complete the mission, if you will, you saw these like little doors open up near the ceiling, and you'd see a gun barrel stick out, and they'd be pink mist. And so, of course, I'm expecting the same here, but instead of that, all I see is like it looked like dark blue or black or something like that. Just instantly, you heard a little pop, and then you saw, what I thought they were trying to show as blood that was didn't have oxygen in it yet, and nonetheless, no, it is a game show. It is an actual game show, and those are die packets. And so, that was the way, at least for some of the contests, that people knew if they were eliminated or not. If their die pack blew up, obviously they were eliminated. So that's why it looked a little bit different, and it didn't take me long to figure it out, catch out that I was actually watching an actual game show and not a sequel. And let me tell you what, that is, for me, the most interesting game show that I have ever seen in my life. And I am hooked. I am full blown hooked. And that's not normal for me. What sold me was the high level of psychological involvement in the game. It's just insane. If you haven't seen it, they just cracked it open today. If you hadn't seen it, it's Squid Game Challenge, and it's on Netflix. And it is just wow. And a very good game, very impressive contestants. There's like 5 episodes that's been released, and I'm on 5. I've got a little more than halfway to go yet on the last episode, which I will be finishing before I go to sleep. Because I gotta know. Although that's not going to be the final winners. Obviously, there's I don't remember how many exactly there are left, but I don't foresee them all being eliminated by the end of this particular show. So we won't be able to find out who wins the big kahuna, I guess, until the second part of it gets released, I'm assuming. But anyway, I had to say that because that is like the most unlikely thing for me. Like, literally, you could put that on one of the least likely things that you could ever see me doing would be binge watching a TV show. Because, first of all, if you catch me watching a TV show, that's an extreme rarity to begin with. But then to do so on the level that I'm binge watching it, yeah, not for me. But why do I keep blinking my screen over here? In VR, that is. It keeps blinking on me. It's not up there, but so anyway, I wanted to discuss that. That was kind of at least the font was the inspiration behind today's thumbnail. I really didn't have a whole lot of information as far as why I chose that thumbnail or chose the title for tonight. It just seems like it was fitting, and I wanted to use the Squid Game font, and so and then today I did those images to where my avatar is just with a transparent background. Those are avatars actually from Facebook. I need to update them because I've got a leather jacket on now, and before I had that other shirt thing on. It's an outfit. Um, huh. Fun times, fun times. I don't have a lot of tabs open. I think I've got 5 open. And yeah, it is what it is. It's Wednesday. Let's make it an easy one. I am so wore out. um, let me I gotta grab a sip of coffee here. Man, oh man, oh man, I love coffee. And with that binging bonging about, I need to learn how to more efficiently use my headset because, like, what I'm doing right now, I could actually be doing in my headset. Oh, okay. It was somebody that was replying to me. I will deal with that after the show. Oh yeah, you guys can't see nothing. Let's fix that. Blink. Okay, let's blow this up. I know it's gonna throw everything off. I'm gonna have to fix things and stuffs, but I like it bigger. I know. That's what she said. All right. All right. I think we are good. Good. We are good. Ukraine conscripting vital workers, says Die Well. Now, I will remind you that yesterday we were reporting that they were conscripting elderly females. Getting kind of crazy over there in Ukraine. There was an ad, and I say ad, not really an ad. There's a story related, and I didn't think I'd luck out and it would pop up again, but it was no, it was an ad. Come to think of it, and it was an ad talking about the U.S. seniors being in the army or working for the army or something like that, and I was like, holy cow. And I clicked off of it before the thought hit my mind that, hey, maybe you should have taken a screenshot of that or clicked on it or something, and I didn't, and I apologize for that. I am going to keep an eye out for that. I will likely see it because it was an ad. I will likely see it again, and I will make sure to dig. So this is not surprising, and I just was talking to you about the women thing, right? Well, check this out. Not only does it look like elderly women could be getting conscripted into the Ukrainian military, but they're also putting women in the mines. Hey, I want to know. I just want to know for all the feminists out there. This is great, right? Right. For the feminists, this is great, right? Because you can do everything a man can do and better, right? Enjoy it. And that's to just the feminists out there. If you've got a clue, then ignore everything I just said. Yeah, I don't play kindly. I'm done with the whole feminism, men are bad bullshit. So it is what it is. I've been done for a long time. If you haven't known, um, whatever. I'm catching hell from the dog over that right now as well. And yes, she's a female. Whatever. You want to go to work in the mine? Because I know a Ukrainian. No, I'm gonna get huffed again. I know I'm gonna get huffed again. Anyway, the article says with male workers drafted and sent to the front lines, hundreds of women have been put to work in Ukrainian coal mines, Reuters reported on Wednesday. Meanwhile, some women have already been conscripted by the military. Prior to the conflict with Russia, Ukrainian energy firm DTEK employed roughly 20,000 mine workers, all of whom are male or war male. Wait, what? Huh? War male? Or I hope they're still male. With 3,000 of this number drafted and sent to the front, the firm told Reuters that it has hired around 400 women to make up the shortfall. Now, wait a minute. Stop. You just said that they employed 20,000 mine workers, all of whom were male. Were male. And now they have taken 400 of those that were males. I'm kidding. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. You'd have to ask the Ukrainians. But don't worry. Oh, don't worry. If you haven't thought that my news has been nonsensical enough yet, oh, no. Oh, no. We haven't even touched upon the nonsensical. Hell, I can't even say it now. I'm so flustered over it. And, well, let's just rip it off like a Band-Aid, shall we? Ugh. Gay furry hackers hit U.S. nuclear lab. Now, listen. If I'm going to be taken out by some type of radioactive catastrophe, can we please not let the gay furry hackers do it? I mean, can we have just a little semblance of something better than gay furry hackers causing the apocalypse? Because I'm not good with that, yo. I am totally not good with the gay furry hacker bit. No. Uh, there are so many reasons 20 years ago I would have never have seen myself not only doing what I do each and every 5 nights a week here, but I damn sure wouldn't think I'd have been talking about gay furry hackers. Whew. All right. I've only got 2 more tabs after this one, and it's only 20 after. I mean, I can't even speak to this. I'm not qualified. Oh man. Gotta watch out for those gay furry hackers, because they'll take out your nation. Ah. That article, I could have never wrote it. I would have never gotten finished with that article. They'd have had to have fired me. Oh, man. All right, moving on. Because we got to have some way to fight off all these gay furry hackers. More Americans own guns than ever before, says a poll. Yeah, you damn right. When you hear about gay furry hackers messing around with our nuclear stuff, it's time to buy something. Like a spot on the Cayman Islands, or I don't know. Oh, my goodness. Gun ownership has reached a record high among American voters, according to an NBC poll published Tuesday. More than half of respondents, that would be 52%, reported that they or someone in their household owned a gun. This is my rifle. This is my gun. This is fun. Yeah, whatever. That percentage is the highest since NBC began asking the question in 1999. Was Prince involved with that? Gun ownership rates have risen sharply over the past decade, the poll suggests, with just 42% of those surveyed in 2013 claiming they or another household member possessed a firearm. That number was up to 49% by 2019. All right, noticing a trend there? Republicans are significantly more likely than Democrats or independents to own guns, with 2/3 of Republican voters reporting a gun in the household compared to just 41% of Democrats and 45% of independents. Now, that is still something to really take a good look at. There's a lot of people that want to group the Democrats all together, same as people want to group Republicans all together. And man, there are a lot of Democrats. There are a lot of Democrats that aren't good with anti-gun legislation. A lot of Democrats aren't good with it. That's just like you've got a lot of Democrats that aren't good with abortion. You just do. I mean, not everybody is willing to sit in that box, and you have to watch for those that don't, because just because they're on the quote unquote other side, when you have somebody like that you can have some really fundamental likenesses, things you see eye to eye on some very, very core things. Maybe you're more conservative, you don't want to see a lot of the social integration going on. Okay, well, that's fine. Maybe the Democrat has other views that he doesn't care for the Republicans, but let's say they're both really diehard Second Amendment supporters. It happens more often than you think. And that's why I really think, and that's why I make fun of people that are all wrapped up in their Republican or Democrat BS, because not only are they completely foolish to what's really happening, but they also are likely shoving a bunch of people in boxes that they damn well don't fit in. And now it's probably not a time that we need to be doing that. Just saying. Because if there's anything that's going to make the powers that be shake in their boots, it's us, putting an end to bickering and fighting with each other over every single little bitty difference we can find. And us putting our heads together, getting them out of our asses, and going after them. So, that has been my PSA. Oh yeah, I got to raise the headset to take a drink of coffee. So anyway, what did that say? It says still the percentage of Democrats who said they or a family member had a firearm increased 11 points over the last decade. See? Black voters have seen the biggest increase in gun ownership since the poll was last conducted in 2019, from 24% to 41%. That is awesome. I love to hear that. While the increase among white voters was minimal, 53% versus 56%. I cannot tell you how incredible I believe that is. That's incredible. That's incredible. It says attitudes were split about gun control, with 47% stating they believe the government would go too far in restricting American Second Amendment right to bear arms, while 48% said they feared the government would do too little to regulate firearms. With personal safety topping the list of reasons Americans gave for owning a gun, surging violent crime rates across the nation are believed to have contributed to the increase in firearm ownership. A Gallup 2021 Gallup poll found 88% of respondents said they owned a gun for protection against crime, a significant increase over the 67% who answered similarly when the question was asked in 2005. So I think the violent crime surging is a lot bigger reasoning than what they're probably going to admit to. Because that is the answer to the problem. We all know that. That's the answer to the problem. And they don't want they're trying to keep people from figuring that out. But clearly from the polls and clearly from, the firearms being purchased, it's not working. And that's awesome. And I cannot tell you how happy I am to seeing such a sharp increase in the ownership by Black individuals. And the reason why is because there was kind of a stigma there for a long time. And I think there was a stigma basically on both sides. I think, as far as I think there are a lot of just being honest, I think there were a lot of white folks that had a stigma about Black folks owning firearms. And I think due partially to that stigma, I can't speak from experience, obviously, but I think a lot of Black folks had a bit of apprehension because of that stigma, because, oh my God, and let's face it, I'm sure there are a lot of melanated individuals that are concerned about being shot just simply because they are carrying a firearm. And you know the rest. Philando Castile. And if I mispronounced his name, I apologize. But I need to say his name out loud because that young man was not doing a damn thing wrong. And he should still be with us today. And if it wasn't for absolute ignorance, negligence, and whatever the hell else it was, he would still be here. But it is what it is. Let me real quick unshare this just for a moment, and then that way, if I'm lagging up, I don't know if I was lagging up or not. I don't see it on my screen, so let me have a sip of coffee, a couple of vapes. We're really rolling through this tonight. This is the last tab I have open, and then it's just headlines. And this coffee's good. I can't help it. I love coffee. Let's see. Gotta have my vapes. I did plug my watch is plugged in. I charge my watch twice a day. I have to. I don't have the capacity to go longer than what I go. So basically, I when I wake up in the morning, I put it on the charger. When I start the show, I put it on the charger because it doesn't take long to charge, and you know, long before the show is over, it's fully charged. I put it on when we go to bed because that's part of my E&C, if you know, my every night carry, if you will. I literally, you know, that is one thing I try to do is have my watch on me at night because it is part of my E&C. There are a couple of things that my watch is handy for. Some of it is a bit OPSEC-y, if I say, but yeah, it's I found some real interesting uses. But anywho, so I've got it down there charging. It's already, I'm sure it's well charged by now. Usually, I mean, it wasn't complete, you know, wasn't near dead or nothing. I think it was about half full. Takes about 10 minutes to charge it, maybe, from half full. So, TicWatch E, it's like way outdated, but there's a hell of a lot of stuff that's on lists that are need to haves a long way before me upgrading my smartwatch. We've got a lot of need to haves, and that's not a need to have. That's a maybe possibly down the road if I had it kind of list. Huh. Man, oh man, oh man. I'll tell you what, the one thing that well, what I would call an expense that I really would like is the Quest 3, the new headset that came out, the Meta Quest 3. I it is so much more powerful than the Quest 2 what I have on. It gives you so much more ability, and I really do think I'm gonna probably push forward with the VR stuff. Gentleman I was talking about earlier on in the show that was that replied back to me early in the show. I said somebody had replied back to me. It was on Facebook, and it was somebody here local that lives here local. I guess he does racing, and so he was at. I posted that video that I posted on YouTube. I posted it over there in our little towns group as well. The reason being is because when school gets out, there's some young men that walk by that, you know, get off school, they're walking by. And, you know, just the way everything's set up, if you look over this way, especially in the summer, if I got the windows open and stuff, it's kind of hard not to see our living room, seeing us sitting in here, seeing the computer, the desk, and all that. So it's pretty easily seen from the street. And anyway, the one of the young men noticed that I had a flight stick in front of me and all of that. So he asked if I gamed, to which I replied no, because I don't. And so that's why I posted the video, because I don't know if the young man's in our Highland group that we run, but that's why I posted the video, to show him what it was that I do. But anyway, this other gentleman that was responding back to me, I guess he enjoys racing. So, and I'm not into gaming. I'm really not into gaming, but I could certainly see myself getting into a race. Absolutely, especially if it had rally racing, because I really love rally racing. But we'll see. And got the steering wheel here, so I just actually cleaned it up. I don't know, 2-3 months ago or so. I pulled it out and got it all cleaned up and plugged in and tested it. Got everything working. Had to fiddle with it a little bit. But who knows? I might do a little bit of racing yet. If YouTube, I shouldn't say if, when they get tired of us enough that they flick us off like a flea, and it's coming. It's coming. You know, I'm going to be real honest with you, and it's going to be 100% up to the Father's will. 100% up to the Father's will. But if YouTube is snatched away, I don't know that I'll continue doing this. Again, it's 100% up to the Father. If He indicates to me in any way, shape, or form to keep pushing forward, I will keep pushing forward, however He indicates for me to do so. If He doesn't push for me to push forward, if He says that I've done my job with this, then, I'll do whatever else that, whatever He's wanting me to do next. But I'm probably also going to spend a little bit more time in leisure. Because I spend very little time. And even if I do convince myself to go get my stuff and get it set up, so I can go flying or whatever, I feel guilt anytime I'm doing it. I am one of those kind of people that I don't like doing idle things. I don't like doing things that's not progressing something. And so it's not easy for me to do that, but it used to be. It used to be no sweat, man. I literally have gone flying for days straight. That's not an exaggeration. I had a glider race. Let's see. You'll have to remind me what you're asking about when you say compound the material they're made of. Remind me what it is you're asking me about. But yeah, I mean, I need to. He's talking to you. Those were, well, her old ones were wooden. Couldn't tell you what kind of wood. But the ones that she has now is actually aircraft aluminum. So, quite an advancement. But yeah, the crutches that she has now is actually aircraft aluminum. T something, I couldn't tell you, but it's what it is. Let's see. Oh, I never did read this. Mystery. Oh, I don't have it up for you guys. There. Now I know I got to go back over here and do that. Mystery canine disease spreading across the U.S. That a mystery respiratory illness sickening dogs across the U.S. has spread to more states, raising fears over a potential canine pandemic as veterinarians struggle to identify the disease and track its origin. The illness, called atypical canine infectious respiratory disease, or ASIRD, has infected hundreds of dogs in Oregon alone. The first California cases came to light on Tuesday when the Los Angeles County Public Health Department reported that at least 10 dogs had been sickened with the disease. Now, I don't know if you own a map or not, but Los Angeles and Oregon aren't necessarily neighbors. So, I wanted to add that. Dogs in at least 7 other states, stretching from New Hampshire to Illinois, fun times, to Colorado to Washington, have reportedly been affected, and in rare cases, the disease can be fatal. Typical symptoms include coughing, lethargy, nasal discharge, and loss of appetite. Affected dogs have tested negative for common respiratory illnesses that cause similar symptoms. I can't predict where this is going to go. Dr. Carl Jandry, a professor at the University of California Davis School of Veterinary Medicine, told NBC News, "This is like another mini pandemic, if you will, but it's not necessarily proven yet that we have it under control." So, I would just be mindful of this. Be mindful of this. Especially if you take your dog to the groomers, or if you've got a dog sitter, because I know that, there are quite a few people that do that, or at least did. We have We have some pretty successful businesses here that do that. The doggy kennel kind of stuff. Well, like the doggy daycare kind of thing, you know. Um, um, the one company. Well, I'll tell you what. Um, they had a deal that happened to them. Oh, I was even so pissed off, and I have nothing to do with it. I am just the kind of, I am a right is right, wrong is wrong kind of person. And so you may or may not have heard me speak once in a while upon that one of the most verified UFO stories actually comes from right here in Highland. Um, you can go check it out. The gentleman that first spotted the object was actually used to be my neighbor years ago, Melvin Knoll. And if you know Melvin, you know that if he says something, yeah, he wasn't the type of guy to tell stories or anything. In fact, just complete opposite of that. If there was a guy you could rely on being straight with you, Melvin was one of those guys. He's no longer with us, rest his soul, but um he had drove a truck. He two jobs. He had drove a truck, as in like semi truck, but he had a local, he did daily, just a daily thing. But also he owned a mini golf course, and he was adding all kinds of stuff. Had an arcade in it, go karts, he was really kind of doing up the place, and that's where he was at when he saw the unexplained aerial phenomena, right? The UFO, as some people call it, the UFO. Um, so he had saw it. He had called it into the Highland Police Department, told them what he saw, and there were a number of police officers from Highland to Lebanon to I think Dupo, maybe Shiloh. Yeah, I think a Shiloh officer was involved. Dupo was. A little bit of a distance here in between us and there, for multiple law enforcement officers to confirm seeing this object in the sky. So very interesting, but yeah, just a little more background on our town here. One of the most verified UFO stories comes from right here, and um, where I'm talking about is that land that gentleman owned, that he had the mini golf course, go kart track, arcade stuff. Um, he's no longer with us, and he had given up on that. I don't know how long before he passed away, or if he even did give it up before he passed away, or if that changed hands afterwards. I couldn't tell you. But I know a long time to get to where I'm at. But this really up and coming dog grooming, daycare kind of business, um, wanted to purchase that land to build their main facility, right? Their headquarters. Now, who in their right mind? We're talking about a business that's already established here in town, okay? Has a lot of high regards, and I mean a lot of high regards. I mean, these folks really seem to know their stuff. And for whatever reason, inside BS reasons, they wouldn't let them purchase that property to put their business on. It's absolutely mind blowing. But and I don't know whatever happened, but I do know that the doggy daycare place. I do know that they did eventually secure some property here and get the okay to build a place here, but I'm pretty sure their headquarters that they were going to put here is in Greenville, a town not real far from here. But Highland missed out on that because they were idiots. Some kind of inside BS, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm yakking. I would just be very mindful of your pets. Huh. We are to headlines. Let me have a few vapes. I am anxious to get done, finish watching the rest of that last episode, and go to bed. Checking out the beach here. There's like some cliffs over there. I guess you could jump off of the cliffs into the water. There's like some I don't know, like castle looking places up over there. There's actually some over there too. I wish they would allow us to create our own space. That would be so cool. We would totally be like hundreds of feet under the ground in a bunker. No, who knows? We could be on a cruise ship. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Cruising around on the ocean while I'm doing the show. Okay. Russian economic growth could exceed expectations, says minister. Russia-China trade to hit $300 billion, says Moscow. Canada's aid to Ukraine to top $800 million. Israel's hostage deal with Hamas, what we know so far, and I share those kinds of things because they do a pretty good job of laying stuff out. Moscow hails Israel-Hamas hostage deal. Western strategy for Ukraine not working, says German analyst. I wonder what their first clue was. Israel warns UN of regional war, says media. Pakistan applies for BRICS membership, says envoy. Sanctions against Russia are impoverishing EU, says French MEP. EU set to consider security pledge to Ukraine, says Bloomberg. Covered that one. Ukraine spent nearly half of Washington's aid on U.S. debt bonds, says the media. ChatGPT creator to return as CEO of OpenAI. Yeah, I really don't know what all the deal is with that, but I'm sure it got very interesting. Ukraine stalled counteroffensive sends bad message, says Zelensky. I'm pretty sure you send a bad message. Putin names Russia's sacred duty in Gaza. Telecom company with Mike Pompeo on board likely to be seized, says senior Ukrainian official. 60% of Americans believe Joe Biden helped son's business dealings. Russia never gave up on Ukraine peace talks, says Putin. Ukraine conducts drone strike on journalists, says Moscow. A Russian bank sues J.P. Morgan. First Israeli hostages to be freed Thursday, says foreign minister. Now, I keep hearing Friday and Friday and Friday all left and right, so I'm not real confident on that Thursday. There are no Russian-speaking Ukrainians, says Kiev. Okay, I believe that's probably not true. Women begin working in Ukrainian... Oh, I covered that. Western policies putting global economy under colossal stress, says Putin. Russian trade with friendly states soaring, says an official. Nord Stream attack was state terrorism, says Putin. Ukraine wants U.S. radar system, says Politico. Let's see. Russia could sue over Nord Stream attack, says foreign ministry. Putin declares year of the family. Russia's top lawmaker hails closer ties with China. Kremlin comments on death of traitor pilot. EU country to further close border with Russia. Suspected terrorist attack hits U.S.-Canada border crossing, says media. U.S. border blast caught on video. U.S. presidential candidate vows to dismantle military empire. Oh yeah, I was going to speak. Let me speak to that. The deal at the border earlier. And I will actually defend all the individuals that came out and called it an act of terrorism from the start. I would have and did do the same thing. I mean, I didn't make a video or nothing, but I mean, I did assume that it was a terrorist attack, that it was a terrorist type of event. But I think the reason why so many people were so willing to jump the gun, and so not willing to jump the gun, but fell for jumping the gun, is because of the level, and just work with me on the wording, the level of violence behind the explosion. That was a very violent explosion, and it would be hard to believe that there was not something larger at play there with that explosion. Because, to be honest, you don't see a whole lot of vehicles that go up quite like that when they get involved in an accident. The conditions have to be just right for that explosion, like was witnessed on that security camera. Conditions just have to be just right in order to have that much of a violent explosion from gasoline. You have to have two things present. I mean, there are other things that you could use, but considering that particular situation, there are two things that are going to massively affect. And again, I'm calling it violence, the violence of the explosion, the intensity, if you will. That's a better word for it. The intensity of the explosion. Those two things is atomization of fuel. The more atomization of fuel, and of course, the more atomized fuel you have in the air, is going to be major when it comes to that explosion, because smaller droplets are going to have more surface area and they're going to ignite much faster, have availability to oxygen, which is another part of another piece of the fuel in order to create the explosion. So there's science behind why the higher atomization would be needed for such a intense explosion. But the other thing that you need for, and again, in that particular situation, and I'm talking about outside, open air, the idea that it was a car accident, a car that hit something hard that ruptured the tank and all that. The other factor that had to be in play there was that fuel had to be moving at a very, very high velocity. And when I say fuel, I'm talking about atomized fuel. So it was those two factors. The fact that the fuel, for whatever reason, atomized very, very well. And the fact that there was so much force and momentum behind that atomized fuel. That is why you saw such a violent, such an intense explosion that you don't normally see when it comes to a car accident like that. So, in case folks didn't understand that, or thought for some reason thinks that they're lying, there's some conspiracy behind them saying now that they don't believe it was an act of terrorism. No, it just, as far as the explosion is concerned, that's one of those things that you deem a freak accident. Not only was the accident an accident, of course, but for those elements to be just right for that level of a explosion, that intensity of an explosion, that's pretty rare when it comes to a car accident and gasoline. I know a lot of people think gasoline is like, oh my God. No, it's not really that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very combustible. That's the entire point of using it in a combustion engine. But it is way far from the most combustible. Way, way far. It's actually not even that high up on the list of, I don't think so, when you look at all the other damn things that we have access to. But I mean, look at hydrogen. Holy hell. Coffee. Anywho, uh, where was I at? Former Obama advisor harassed Muslim food vendor. Right-wing party surges ahead in Dutch election. Ukraine's neighbor refuses to hand over draft dodgers. Americans sick of Ukraine war spending, says poll. No kidding. EU must reconsider Ukraine policy, says member state. Ukraine feeling Western conflict fatigue, says Financial Times. Putin thinks decades ahead, says a key aide. We talked about the gay furry hackers. And we talked about the mystery canine disease. Let me see if there is a number 2 over there. Got to do number 2. It looks like. Oh my goodness, no. Oh no, not this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Where is the humanity? Oh my goodness. I don't know about you, but I'd much rather have a beef shortage or anything, but rising condom prices? My goodness. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that's probably racist somehow. Steve, work on that for me. Work on an angle that high condom prices are racist. So I already got a theory on that. I already got a theory on that. uh, it wouldn't take too much thinking to figure my theory out, but it's funny. North Korea shreds military accord with Seoul. So that was the other headline that was up there. So neener, neener, neener. All right, folks. That's I can get rid of that. Bye bye. And I can actually disconnect my computer now too. Blink. Oh, not that. Disconnect. Disconnect. Yeah, yeah. There. Now I don't have a big ass thing in front of me. Huh? Yep, I have a feeling. Fun times. Just hang in there, folks. We got a hell of a ride coming. If you get a chance to laugh, smile, take the opportunity. I'm telling you. That's why I do my best to make a light of news whenever I can. Not only that, I love humor. I love humor. So if I can incorporate it a little bit, I will. I mean, you don't even have to stretch too far when you're talking about gay furry hackers, though. I mean, that pretty much, that's all laid out for you. All you have to do is even read the headline, and you're succeeded. Anyway, though, I think I'm gonna get running out of here. It's right at 9 o'clock. So yeah. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow to do it again. Hopefully I have a little more rest. I am exhausted. And well, we'll speak to you then. One more day and then the week's up. I do look forward to the end of the news weeks, because it is kind of a nice little reset on Friday to just there are multiple times throughout my Fridays to where I realize all over again that, oh, I don't have a show tonight. I don't have to rush for this. I don't have a show tonight. And it really is it really does relieve pressure on my days off. And so more and more I am finding myself getting to truly take that time off, if you will. But anyway, for now, I'm going to take off until tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And hopefully, I'll see all of you again then. So I hope you have a good night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom. Catch you later, Steve.
I'm still here. Sorry. Good night.
You're fine.
Thanks, Mike. I had
No,
the shut off on it, so if I cough or something, it doesn't blow everybody's ears off. So,
right. Oh,
no,
I completely understand that.
thanks for the news. They'll see it. What is it tomorrow then?
Yep. Tomorrow. I'll be here.
Okay. Thank you, Mike, and Jen. Thank her.
Don't forget the other bitch here.
Blue.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, the other, I'm not taking that bait, Mike. I'll tell you that. She'll crutch her way down here and give me the what fur.
Right on. Oh man.
Okay, thank you. Good
All right,
night.
I'll see you tomorrow, Steve.
Okay, night.
Shalom, everybody.